Welcome to the buy list. This is episode 42.
This is not financial advice. This is cardboard.
Ooh, that
One,
first one was good.
yeah, that wonder I should have just stopped after the direct hit.
Yeah. So,
But
mate,
what's up, Ted? How are
yeah,
you?
what's going on? So yeah, my week in Flesh and Blood. I wasn't planning on it, but I went to a skirmish, sealed skirmish. It was pretty fun. Man, Dash is fun. And Red Backup Protocols is a card, dude. That is a card. I got 2 red backup protocols in my seal pool. Got 1 Evo, so couldn't do the windmill slam Teklo strat. But
Yeah.
I got the 2 red backup protocols, and I got torque tuned,
Oh,
overpower
yep.
if you destroy something. So I was just pitching those early, and like, oh look, I win the game because you're on 3. And it was
Yep.
just it was fun. Yeah, she is, man. I want to play more of her at CC because she is very cool.
She's a blast for
Yeah.
sure. Um, I think that like bright lights. I think a lot of people were just kind of like depressed and didn't want to like deal with Lexi anymore. But I think bright lights is kind of a banger. Teklovossin sucks, but like Max and Dash are both really fun decks. It's just like no one. I think a lot of people were just either weren't interested in mech or were just like kind of like really turned off from like the elongated Lexi meta. But I think it's really starting to shape up like to show that like 2 decks from that set can really compete. It's just the issue is like now showing like they mostly just play cards from previous sets.
Yeah, it's yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit as we, deep dive some cards in this episode, but I think it's interesting. There might be it might have just been like bad timing on LSS's part too. Like they probably couldn't change it, but
No.
I think when you have Dust Till Dawn straight into Bright Lights. Yeah, just like how how Dust Till Dawn set up Bright Lights was just like not great. And it kind of like it Dust Till Dawn put it at a little bit of a nosedive, inclination down, and then like we're going into Bright Lights with that incline down, and then it kind of pushed it a little bit further. Um, but yeah, the but we'll get into that as we look at some of the cards tonight. Big news is this weekend there was a battle hardened in Belgium, I believe,
Sure.
and yeah, that's a place that a
I
battle
am
hard
I
happened, I believe.
Wallonia?
Yeah,
Is that what I literally someone was like battle hard Wallonia and I was just like bless you? What is that? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Uh
It was. But so Iyslander got it done.
peace out.
Peace.
Peace
She
out,
is
girl.
now a living legend. Like the tweet said, she's a world champion. She was scourge the scourge of a lot of people's heart, man. I don't think I mean I think it was an interesting hero. I never played her.
Mhm.
My brain is way too smooth. Like definitely not enough wrinkles
Yeah.
in this dome for that. Um but she's very polarizing, right? There's like
Mhm.
people that straight up love that hero, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, she's out of the meta now, so that now officially seals the coffin on ice cards, elemental cards. We are done with those for now.
Yeah. Third hero that I will be on the honor roll for. Fun fact.
Nice.
Yeah. I
That's
want to
very.
PQ on Iyslander. She's fun.
I did
I
not
I
know that.
I liked playing her. But girl, sorry, not sorry. Your time's gone. So we do have a couple heroes highlighted next to her that are
Mm-hmm.
quite happy that she is now pieced out, gone to check and see how Starvo's doing, and she's not gonna be happy about how that, on that visit. Um,
Yeah.
but both warriors, Bolton and Dory, get a big boost from her leaving. Bolton like that was such a miserable matchup for Bolton, whether it was combo or sabers, like
Yeah.
virtually unplayable. And then Dory had such a tight resource curve that like it was very tough for her to like actually play the game.
Yeah.
Um, and Yuzuri went from calling winner 1 week to virtually unplayable
Yeah.
as soon as Lexi LL
Yeah.
because the top 2 decks being Iyslander and Dromai, like, are easily, like, 30-70 matchups for her. So it's like, "Oh, I can walk into a 40% field of games I will not win?
Mm,
Hmm,
yeah. Tough sledding there.
yeah, check please." You can do that with, like, 1, but you cannot do that with, like, the top 2 heroes.
No. No, you definitely can't. Um, yeah, so it'll be interesting, especially, the one thing that you noted, we got two warriors up there, right? And we're going into heavy hitters, so I think it's, LSS has not been quiet about wanting Iyslander and Lexi gone.
Yep.
So, moving into heavy hitters, we're kind of going to be uh, a little bit unleashed, and now, Ice as a disruption is out of the meta completely. And I put this out as a tweet, Nate, that I was never the biggest fan of Ice, um, but I'm excited to see how they bring it back. To be honest, like to put a positive spin on it and not just be like, yeah, rooting, because I've gone through that. A lot of people still rooting for Chain to be dead. It's like, bro, he's already dead. Leave him alone. Leave
Yeah.
him alone. They're like, no, warmongers should exist in LL. I'm like, come on, like stay dead. Even
Let me
go
have my
another
boy back.
level of dead.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to root on people's favorite heroes to be gone, right? Totally. It's fun to see these heroes achieve living legends, but I'll be excited to see when they bring it back. Maybe in a year or so we get some new heroes, new methods of disruption, maybe not frostbites, or maybe a very different type of application of frostbites, right? So things like that. So that would be cool to see. Um, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. We can maybe move on to looking at some cards. So we
Yeah.
mentioned it in the live stream. Um, TCG player sale has been ongoing. It's Sunday night, the 26th, right now as we record this. So we'll have a little bit of delay since I'm traveling again. But things are moving around a little
Things are
bit.
pumping.
Yeah, things are moving. And our first card here is Levia Redeemed.
Yep.
Let me just run through it here, Nate. So only 7 of them is sold in the last 7 days. There's 28 listings. Quick look at quantities. I didn't tally it up perfectly, but I would say there's under 40 total cards on TCG Player right now. You
Yep.
look at the graph, obviously she's been trending downward at the moment. $37.50 currently. I think with Brute getting a lot of support and heavy hitters, and I think even probably before that, man, I think the word's gonna get out that Levia is very playable, and you need this card. It's a legendary, $37. I think it's a buy.
Yeah. Like Levia actually had like a pretty good Iyslander matchup, so she's a little sad that Iyslander
Yeah.
left. And her Yuzuri matchup is not great. Um, but the Warriors are like 50-50. But like she's honestly like very close already to like this is very weird for me to say, but like she's actually pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
and if you put the time in, like the reps, like it's an incredibly powerful deck. With just some like slight inconsistencies. So like if she gets that like 1 or 2 pieces that like really put it together, like this card was also short printed and not I guess not short printed, but if you cracked a lot of Dust Till Dawn, this is gonna be the lowest legendary that you saw. And
Hmm.
there's not a rainbow foil version. The only other version is the $500 version, and listen, I know a lot of you out there are not bougie bitches. So, like, You're gonna take the freaking $30 version before, and hopefully the $37 version before it becomes like a $80 version.
Yeah.
Uh, which like we're in that's one of the other things that we can talk about is like you look at Dust Till Dawn, that stuff's moving and there's
Mhm.
not a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of
The
Go
thing
ahead.
that we said a couple weeks ago, I think before Worlds, right? I think we mentioned it on our last episode. It's been a while though, is that it'll be interesting to see what happens with Dust Till Dawn and Bright Lights because these sets were so or like Dust Till Dawn was opened a little bit more than Bright Lights, maybe a lot more. But these sets were not like super popular sets. And I think we're starting to see that, especially with the Black Friday sale that just happened. Listings are drying up, right? 30 of these cards on TCG Player. That sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's not at all.
No. Like I mean, think about it. We have the Realm Rumble this weekend. If
Hmm.
Levia shows up and does well,
Mm,
the entirety of the inventory will be like obliterated in a second.
yeah.
I mean, like, look at they released Kasai and Blood on Her Hands went from like a $5 card to a $30 card overnight.
Yeah.
In Bold and Blade, which we're gonna talk about in a minute,
Yeah.
like people are get hyped as soon as they see something and think it's gonna be fun and exciting to play. So like
Yeah.
right now, people aren't really thinking about Levia because it didn't really have a good showing at Worlds, but that baby top eights, like the
Mhm.
inventory is going to get obliterated. This will be a $50+ card. Like, just scoop it up right now because like
Mm.
it's not going to get cheaper than this. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Nate, is like as I think both of our advices to our listeners would be when you're going to look at a card and you're trying to decide if you think it's like high or low at the moment, always look at that like total listings and then just pay attention to like how fast it moves upward, right? Actually don't I didn't really I don't know how it moves on this card right now, and it will be different by the time this comes out. But if
Yeah.
you look at it, right, it's a very good chance that Levia becomes a $60 card after, you know, uh, 10 cards are sold, right? And that's only a third of the inventory. So it doesn't, it can move, some of these cards can move super quick as well. And that's why you see cards spike and, that's when you hear about them is when it's like, oh my God, Levi is now $100. It's like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
because there was one guy that's like, I'll sell this for 100, and he's just like holding that line, right? So
Yeah. I looked at the Levia inventory and it did not move quickly, but the inventory's thin is the thing. So like
yeah,
I think, and you can look at this graph and see, we've been pretty stagnant and floating down for a while,
yeah,
which like buy or sellers are all going to be different. So like if a card stays low for long enough, eventually all these sellers usually sag down in pricing and kind of like get to a lower pricing level. So then as soon as this card pops off with this thin of inventory, like it's
yeah,
there's gonna be 20 to 25 copies below 50, and then it'll probably jump straight to 80.
yeah, yeah, for
So,
sure.
like, if you have interest in playing Levi, if you like Shadow Heroes, if you like playing Art of War like Ted,
Yeah.
I would advise trying to pick one up on the cheap in like Facebook or Discord for like 30-ish bucks, and then just like you can thank me later.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely worth a look at. Our second deep dive card here is Emboldened Blade, as you had mentioned, Nate. I'll let you take this one away.
All right. So why? Have y'all read this card?
Yeah.
It does. Okay, so let's be real. This card reads really nice. Like turn a face down card in any arsenal face up. If it's a defense reaction, destroy it. Your next weapon attack gets +1. Go again. So you think your opponent's on a D react, and you play this card. They play Sigil of Solace out of their arsenal. You have an arsenal D react. You have to flip up your arsenal and blow up your own D react. Juiced. All right. Let's say you draw this card. All blue hand. and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna put the pressure on." Oh, wait, they don't have an arsenal. This card is a titanium bauble that does say "Go Again," though. I will give it that. It is a
Yeah.
titanium bauble with "Go Again." Into most decks, it will just literally flip up their arsenal, give you nothing, and say "Go Again." So it's a titanium bauble with "Go Again," but you do get to see their arsenal, which is sweet. Might as well run Scout to the Periphery.
Yeah.
Card sucks. There's
Yeah, I
no
don't know.
reason this card should be $15.
Yeah, the I don't
I've
I
sold
don't
every
know
one of
how
my
I don't like I'm trying to think as you're ranting on. I'm trying to think of a hero where you're like, "Oh yeah, they'll definitely have that D-React down there." But like I think this card was too late. I think this card's too late, man. Like I think it was like maybe like an old him tech card or something. I like it's so
Oldhim just
weird.
crowns the card
I
away.
know,
Oldhim
like I don't
yeah,
know. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know what this is for. Maybe this is like a UPF card or something. I don't know.
it's just like it's too situational. Like if you want to soul read your opponent, sure. Play this card. It again, it's a blue titanium bauble that like sometimes gets insane value, but
Hmm.
I rather just play cards that have like some value all the time instead of zero value most of the time.
Yeah. The last card, the last episode we did a deep dive on Glint. That card's still like $3. Like buy that card, guys. Don't buy this card for $15.
I can tell you right now, Kasai is not playing this card, guys. Like, put your pants back on and take the blinders off because Embolden Blade ain't getting played in Kasai. Literally, her text box says red and yellow cards. It doesn't say anything about shitty blue cards that do nothing.
Yeah.
If it did, then you should put it by Embolden Blade and put it in your deck. But it doesn't say anything about shitty blue cards. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Rant.
mean, I guess in back when I used to play against Dory a lot, right? You would bring in like sinks or something, but uh
Yeah,
man,
sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah, and then,
Oh,
like, Dory, like, plays so, like, let's say, alright, Dory has a 5-card hand, they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna juice them." If they have a D-React in their arsenal, they play out their blue, they somehow have another blue in their hand, and it's like, they play out the blue, they don't get a D-React, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, now I have a 4-card hand because I just decided to discard a card." And it's like, you just know so much more about the Dory's hand because they've played this card
yeah.
first and not gotten any value out of it.
Yeah, you have to pair this card with like getting counters and like you know what I mean? You have to pair this with so much other things for it to be like worth value, or you're just like trading a card for a card plus one. It's like, I don't
Some
know. It's
half the time, you're not even doing that, you're literally just
yeah.
discarding a card.
Yeah. So we're marking we I think this is like a rare occasion where we're just like, don't buy this card. Sell this card.
Like,
If you
oh,
have this card, sell it. Like,
okay,
yeah.
so, like, Already Dead popping off because we see sweet assassin cards come out. Like, that card, playable because it
Yeah.
says 6 on it, and that
Yes.
card before this was very playable because it said 6 on it, and that card was, like, $17.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give y'all a hint. Playable card, $17, unplayable garbage that you should feel bad about putting in your deck, $15.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't make it more clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright,
Don't be buying these. Sell them if you have them on this one.
next
Yeah. That's
next card before my blood pressure gets too high, Ted.
yeah. Yeah. Hold the line. Yeah.
Hold it,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. Hold the line. So as we started off the episode, right? Ice is out of the meta now. Um, People gonna be drawing some cards. Yeah, Art of War is gonna be a thing. We just mentioned that Levi plays Art of War. Blood Rush Bellows is definitely gonna be a thing. We got Brutes coming up.
Yep.
And also Kasai wants to be drawing cards.
Mhm.
And yeah, you got cash in floating around out there. You got all kinds of stuff, right?
Yep. So,
Yeah.
okay, now let's go back and look at the other card. $15. Absolute garbage, piece of crap that shouldn't exist. Versus a blue defense reaction that can block for 5 in certain matchups?
Yeah.
Now, I know there's gonna be
But if you
one Tim
arsenal
there's
it,
gonna be one Timmy out there who's gonna be like, "But that $15 card can blow up this card." You know what, Timmy? It sure can. It sure fricking can, Timmy. And you know what? You're right. It can if you draw them in the correct order.
yeah.
But this one has way higher upside
Yeah. It's
than the other one, and it already does something regardless. It's a D-react, and that is gonna be very valuable, I think, in the upcoming format with both Guardian and, Warrior getting a bunch of support.
Tome of the Imperial Flame draws 2 cards too, right?
Tome of Fyendel, Tome of Imperial
Yeah.
Flame, Art of War, Cash In,
Yeah.
Blood Rouge Bellow. Like,
Yeah.
guys, do I need to name more cards that draw 2?
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of good cards you just named there. The
Tome of
interesting thing,
Harvest,
dead card.
Gorganian Tome in the mirror when they try to juice you because you've already played a Gorganian Tome, and they're like, "I'm gonna draw 2 cards." You're like, "Juiced."
Yeah, no, I think you're still getting juiced on that turn.
Okay, so you might still be getting juiced on that too, but you have a great
Pro tip.
response to the juicing.
Yeah, pro tip. If you get the second Gargania tome played on you, GG's, wrap it up. Like that's pretty rough. The looking at the data on this too, Nate. 41 of these have sold. I think people, you can see the tail end of that graph, right? I think people are we're not the first to this card, I don't think. Um, but again, if you look at current listings on TCG Player, you got 14 current listings. Yeah, multiple quantities on some of those, but we're talking less than I think we're talking definitely less than 40, maybe less than 30 of these cards on TCG Player right now. Again, signaling that Dusk Till Dawn did not get as cracked as much, which makes sense. Not a lot of people going after supplemental set, right? It's just how they always kind of work, and then especially with them being again that set being so narrow, just being light and dark, light and shadow, that didn't help. So yeah, we're
Little
seeing thin on that, right?
Yeah, it's the there I mean, we could highlight any number of Dusk Till Dawn cards, and all of them are moving up right now. It's
Yeah. Same
like
with Bright Lights too, really. It's both these sets kind of have that same
it's
feel to them, right?
and I think, like, if anyone, like, listens to the Taco Man, like, he always says, like, when everyone is, like, super negative, that's the time that you should, like, be, like, paying attention and, like, watching.
Mm,
Because when people are overly negative, that's actually the best time to buy. Because and, like, you look at, like, Dusk Till Dawn and Bright Lights, like, shoot, the week after Bright Lights, that would've been like, if you just gobbled up like, singles of Twin Drive
yeah.
and, like, Already Dead and Heist, you would've made a killing.
Yeah.
And Dusk Till Dawn too, if you would've bought Dusk Till Dawn anytime in the last 2 months, um, you would've made a killing because all of those cards are on the rise, like, it and we're about to head into a set where Bolton and Levia are going to get support, maybe not direct
Mhm.
support, but they're gonna get cards on top of an already friendlier meta because these heroes are starting the LL, and there's 2 heroes that are, like, in the overpowered block that are still left standing outside
Mhm.
of, I guess, like, Vi and Dromai are still alive, and they were kind of, like, at the tail end of it, so they were, like, relatively tame, but
Yeah.
Bolton and Levia were printed when things were real freaking broken.
Yeah,
Um,
Levi, that's the thing is Levia has the numbers. You look at her cards, she has the math on her side, and she
yep,
was tuned up at the time to try to overcome her oops, I killed myself on her ability.
yeah,
They didn't quite get there, but now you have Levia redeemed, and that kind of fixes that problem. So she can still use her tuned up cards. So she's a real threat.
and, like, Bolton just keep like you can tell LSS is scared to death of, like,
Well,
Bolton
limited
and
edition.
Sabres combo because
Yeah.
like, it can get that deck can get very degenerate and, like, Starvo level degenerate
Yeah.
if they push it too far, so they that's part of the reason why Dust Till Dawn, like, fell flat is because they were very conservative because they knew if they pushed too far on any of those heroes, we would hit like Starvo level
Yeah.
meta.
Vic
Um,
is real close to being not
mhm,
fun to play against. He's actually, if you haven't played
yeah,
against the Sabers and it pops off, feel count yourself as lucky. I've played against it once or twice, and it's just sitting there, and you're like, I hate this. Like it's quite the thing to see. It's a lot of damage very quickly. They're healing, like you have them at 5, and
yep,
you're like, oh, I almost got them, and then they're like, heal, 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 and you're like, oh my god. So
yep.
if they print a card that like somehow gets Bolton to that quicker by accident or by, and I don't think they would ever do it on purpose, but if it's just like something they missed, oof,
He's
that's like emergency errata type level power.
I I think they've done a very good job of like maintaining his power level to not be like too grossly absurd.
Yeah.
Um, and they've also printed multiple ways to play him, which is one of the things that I think also makes him like in a good position. It's kind of like the dash conundrum. Like when you sit down across from a Bolton, you have no idea what you're playing against. Are you playing against
Yeah.
Raiden? Are you playing against Sabers? Or are you playing against Great Axe? There's 3 different decks there. So it's like same thing
Yeah.
when you sit down from Dash. Like, are they going to be hard fatigue turtled like Tree Frog Dash, or are they going to be boosty boosty boys? Or are they going to
Yeah.
play a little bit more mid range?
Yeah.
And I think like that alone is a powerful effect
It gives
to
you
have
some
like
percent points, that's for sure, right? It causes unforced errors, right? Your opponent
yep,
doesn't deck properly. So yeah, there is some power to that ability of just not knowing what's across from you. Because I've definitely sideboarded wrong into things. I've been like halfway through the game, been like, oh, I lost this game before we even started it.
yep, yeah.
Yeah, so
I think that's one thing to like. I'm just super excited. I think that
yeah.
like the I've been more excited to play Flesh and Blood now than probably any time in like the last like 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird.
Yeah.
I don't have any like I'm not practicing for anything. There's literally nothing until like Road the
June.
national season in February. But
Is it? Oh yeah, February.
the meta is so wide open now.
Yeah.
You can play literally any deck besides Riptide or Arachne.
Or Vincent.
Um, or Vincent or Prism, sorry.
There's a handful there.
There's a handful there. You're right, you're right, you're right.
I've been getting some flack. Vincent is not completely unplayable, although I say that a lot.
Dude, someone on a pro quest with her.
Yep. I'll say
Shout out
that.
Kevin.
She cooks. She can cook real hard,
Yeah,
but she can also just like lose the game very quickly. And
yeah,
it's super frustrating
yep,
because it's like I've seen when it cooks, and I'm like, I want to do this more often. And then she's just like, you have to banish. You have to take 6 damage to play that read the runes in your hand because you have to hold 2 cards.
yep.
Like, come on, man, you're killing me. But no, yeah, she's not completely unplayable. I think she's definitely better into this meta without Lexi. But like you said, yeah, Riptide, some of those heroes are kind of hanging out. But yeah, there's a lot of heroes that can
Yep.
play. There are a lot of heroes that have play.
Yeah, was like updating like our team has like a kind of like a meta predictor um for events, and I was going through it today and like updating and like putting heroes in. And well, I usually just like go through and just kind of like, all right, I think this hero is going to be like 3 to 4%, 5 to 6, like 10
Mhm.
plus, 15. And I ended at like 130%. But
That's
like
yeah,
when I'm going through and like realistically like going, it's like, yeah, like I could see 4% Rhinar, and that would not surprise me. And I don't think that would be incorrect.
yeah,
And like 4 to 5% Bolton, 4 to 5% Yuzuri, like 4 to 5% Dory, like all these heroes are now like you're not like, why in the world
yeah,
did 10 people decide to sleeve up and
yeah,
bring Dory to this tournament? She
yeah.
ain't got no place here.
I mean, you could even say that a little bit about Riptide, right? I'm sure his Iyslander matchup was kind of rough, but I
Yeah, it
mean,
was terrible. Yeah.
um, I think he definitely gained some points. So yeah, I'm here for it. I'm excited to see what happens next weekend.
Yep.
I'll be there. So if you're at Columbus, stop by, say hi. Um, I will
I
be
gave
down
Ted
at
the
the
deck.
lower table.
No, you will not. I gave Ted the deck. He's gonna win it all.
Yeah, dude, that is a gauntlet. There's a lot of good players in there, and then there's me.
Scrubs, all of them. Are you playing the 20K or the 10K?
The 20K, I got invited on points. Yeah. I don't know how those points work, ROM games. Like like something happened.
Someone
It's
definitely,
bank
someone
favor
definitely,
in my era, dude. Someone
yeah.
clicked the
Someone,
wrong button.
they meant to give you like 2 points, and they gave you 200. Like this tech guy's killing it.
Yeah. But
It's okay.
anyways, yeah,
You got
well,
the deck. I'm gonna teach you how to play it. Maybe we'll stream one day this week.
I am traveling, so
Maybe we'll stream one day this week.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe I'll stream one day this week.
Yeah. But all right, I think that's gonna do it. I'm super excited for the meta and then also our upcoming episodes because I think as we start getting more spoilers, um, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Between Dust of Dawn and Bright Lights, these like deep dive videos were really rough because everything was 20 cents. It felt like so there wasn't a lot of it didn't feel like there was a lot of talk about Nate. And
Yeah,
I'm excited because I think we're starting to like come out of that zone, and especially with
dude.
the wide open meta, there'll be a lot to deep dive into, a lot of cards to look at, a lot of cards to pick up when they're cheap, a lot of cards to avoid while they're high, things like
Yeah.
that. So I'm excited for it.
I think I'm gonna no one's listening this late in the video anyways. 2024 is gonna be the golden age of Flesh and Blood. You heard it here first. Like
Yeah.
I like with where the meta sits right now, with how they've been balancing, like I think they have full control over like the balance of the game and
Yep.
like how they're designing sets. And good lord, if they put Marvel heroes in every set going forward, dude, chef's kiss. If Kasai Marvel is not in set, I will riot
It has to be.
because I've already committed to a lot of boxes. So, James, please do not do this to me.
Yeah.
Just put it in there. Just slide it in. Slide me one. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I think this is gonna be the golden age. I'm super excited.
Yep.
Pump City. Thanks for everyone to support for supporting. We're almost to 1,000 subs. And
Hmm.
by almost, I mean super far away, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Right.
I'm excited for it. It's I'm surprised at 800, right? I did not expect this to happen. So thank you everybody. And I think that's gonna do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. If you're in Columbus, come say hi. Peace.
Peace.